In a small remote village in the heart of Africa, nestled among rolling hills and lush greenery, lived a young woman named Amina. Amina was known throughout the village for her extraordinary beauty. Her skin was the color of rich mahogany, her eyes sparkled like the stars in the night sky, and her smile could brighten even the darkest day. However, beauty in this village was a double-edged sword. Amina's beauty did not go unnoticed. Men and women alike admired her from afar, and she became the object of many suitors' affections. But with admiration came envy and jealousy, and in the shadows there were those who wished to see her beauty tarnished. Among those who envied Amina's beauty was her cousin Shani. Shani had always felt overshadowed by Amina's charm and grace. She was tired of being compared to her cousin and longed for the attention that Amina received so effortlessly. Shani's jealousy grew into a burning resentment, and she began to devise a plan to rid herself of her cousin's overshadowing presence. One fateful evening, as the village prepared for the annual harvest festival, Shani put her plan into motion. She knew that the festival was a time of celebration where everyone would be preoccupied with dancing, feasting, and merrymaking. It was the perfect opportunity to carry out her sinister plot unnoticed. Under the guise of offering help, Shani invited Amina to her home to prepare for the festival. Amina, unsuspecting of her cousin's true intentions, accepted the invitation with a kind heart. As they sat together in Shani's modest hut, Shani pretended to fuss over Amina's appearance, suggesting various beauty treatments to enhance her already stunning looks. "Amina, your beauty is unparalleled," Shani said with a forced smile. "But I know a secret that can make you even more enchanting. Let me prepare a special herbal bath for you. It will make your skin glow like never before." Amina, trusting her cousin, agreed to the treatment. Shani led her to a small, secluded area behind the hut, where a large pot of water was already boiling over an open fire. The steam from the pot carried the faint scent of herbs, masking the true nature of Shani's concoction. "Sit here," Shani instructed, motioning to a wooden stool beside the pot. "I will pour the herbal water over you. Close your eyes and imagine yourself becoming even more beautiful." Amina closed her eyes and smiled, her heart filled with anticipation. She felt the first splash of hot water on her skin and shivered at the sudden heat. But as the water continued to pour over her, the heat became unbearable. She tried to move, to cry out, but Shani held her firmly in place. "Shani, it's too hot," Amina gasped, her voice filled with pain and confusion. But Shani did not relent. She continued to pour the scalding water over Amina, her eyes filled with a twisted satisfaction. When the last drop of water had been poured, Amina collapsed to the ground, her skin burning with an agonizing pain. She looked up at Shani, her vision blurred by tears. "Why, Shani? Why would you do this to me?" Shani's smile was cold and cruel. "Because, Amina, I was tired of living in your shadow. Now everyone will see you for what you truly are." Amina's once flawless skin was now marred with scars and patches of discoloration. Her beauty, which had once been her pride, was now a source of shame and suffering. She lay on the ground, her body trembling with pain as Shani walked away, leaving her to face the world alone. The village was shocked when they saw Amina the next day. Whispers and gasps followed her wherever she went. Mothers pulled their children away, and men who had once sought her hand in marriage turned their eyes away in disgust. Amina's life had been irrevocably changed, her beauty destroyed by the jealousy and cruelty of her own flesh and blood. But Amina's spirit was not so easily broken. She resolved to rise above her suffering, to find a way to heal and to seek justice for what had been done to her. With the support of the few friends who remained loyal to her, Amina began a journey of self-discovery and resilience. She sought out the wisdom of the village elders, who told her stories of ancient remedies and powerful spirits who could aid her in her quest for healing. Amina listened intently, her heart filled with hope and determination. She would not let her cousin's betrayal define her. She would find a way to reclaim her life and her dignity. Thus began Amina's journey, a journey that would take her deep into the heart of the forest, to the peaks of distant mountains, and into the realms of the spirits themselves. She would face challenges and dangers beyond her wildest imagination, but she would not falter. For Amina knew that true beauty came not from the outside, but from the strength and resilience of one's spirit. And so, with her heart set on her goal, Amina took her first steps on the path to healing, her scars a testament to her courage and her determination to overcome the darkness that had been cast upon her. Amina ventured into the dense forest, the air thick with the scent of earth and the whispers of ancient trees. She moved with purpose, guided by the wisdom of the village elders who had shared stories of a healer living deep within the forest. This healer, they said, possessed knowledge of remedies that could mend both body and spirit. The path was arduous, tangled with vines and shrouded in mist. Every step tested her resolve, but Amina pressed on, her determination unwavering. As she delved deeper, the forest seemed to come alive around her, the rustling leaves and distant animal calls creating a symphony that filled the silence. After days of relentless travel, Amina came upon a small clearing where an old woman sat by a fire, her eyes sharp and knowing. This was Mama Jalia, the healer whose name was spoken with reverence and awe. Amina approached her with a mixture of hope and trepidation. "Child, I have been expecting you," Mama Jalia said, her voice as gentle as the breeze. "Sit with me and tell me your story." Amina recounted her ordeal, her voice trembling with the weight of her pain. Mama Jalia listened intently, her eyes never leaving Amina's face. When the tale was finished, she nodded thoughtfully. "You have endured much, Amina," she said. "But know this, true healing comes from within. Your scars are but a reflection of the strength you possess. We will begin with the herbs, but the journey to wholeness will demand more than potions." Under Mama Jalia's guidance, Amina began a regimen of herbal treatments. The healer mixed potions from roots and leaves, each concoction designed to soothe her ravaged skin and ease her suffering. The process was slow, but Amina felt the first stirrings of hope as the herbs worked their magic. Mama Jalia taught Amina the secrets of the forest, the hidden knowledge passed down through generations. Amina learned to identify the plants that held healing properties, to understand the rhythms of nature, and to listen to the forest's quiet wisdom. With each lesson, she grew stronger, her spirit mending alongside her body. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the forest in a golden glow, Mama Jalia led Amina to a secluded glade. In the center stood a towering baobab tree, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky. "This tree is ancient," Mama Jalia said. "It has witnessed countless seasons, endured storms and droughts, yet it stands strong. It is a symbol of resilience, much like you." Mama Jalia performed a ritual, invoking the spirits of the forest to aid in Amina's healing. She chanted ancient words, her voice harmonizing with the sounds of the forest. Amina felt a surge of energy, a connection to something greater than herself. The pain that had defined her existence began to fade, replaced by a sense of peace. As the weeks turned into months, Amina's scars began to diminish. Her skin, though still marked, regained some of its former luster. But more importantly, Amina felt a transformation within. She discovered a strength she never knew she possessed, a resilience forged in the fires of her suffering. One day, Mama Jalia handed Amina a beautifully carved wooden staff. "This is for your next steps," she said. "You have learned much, but there is still more to discover. Take this staff as a symbol of your journey. Use it to guide others who suffer as you have." Amina accepted the staff with gratitude, understanding the weight of the responsibility it represented. She knew her path was far from over, but she felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. Leaving the forest behind, Amina returned to her village, her presence a testament to her strength and perseverance. The villagers, once filled with whispers and pity, now looked at her with awe and respect. She had become more than a victim of cruelty. She had become a beacon of hope and resilience. Amina did not seek revenge against Shani. Instead, she focused on helping others who had suffered. She shared the knowledge she had gained, teaching the villagers about the healing properties of the forest and the power of inner strength. Her actions spoke louder than any words could, and slowly the village began to change. Amina's story spread beyond the village, reaching neighboring communities. People came from far and wide to seek her guidance, to learn from her experiences. She became a symbol of hope, her scars a reminder of the strength that lay within. Mama Jalia's teachings had given Amina more than physical healing. They had given her a purpose. She dedicated her life to healing and helping others, her once painful scars now a badge of honor. Her beauty, now defined by her strength and compassion, shone brighter than ever. And so, Amina's tale became part of the folklore of her people, a story passed down through generations. It was a story of suffering and resilience, of the power of inner strength and the healing properties of nature. And it was a story that inspired many to find their own strength, to overcome their own challenges, and to help others along the way. In the heart of Amina's village, a sense of tranquility began to take root, nurtured by her teachings and the wisdom she imparted. Her home became a sanctuary where people came to seek solace and guidance. The walls were adorned with herbs drying in bundles, and the air was filled with the scent of healing potions and the soft hum of chants learned from Mama Jalia. One day, a stranger arrived at Amina's door, his face marked by sorrow and desperation. He introduced himself as Kofi, a traveler from a distant land. His village, he explained, was plagued by a mysterious illness that left many bedridden, their bodies weakened and spirits crushed. Kofi had heard of Amina's miraculous recovery and her newfound knowledge, and he had come seeking her help. Amina listened intently, her heart aching for the suffering Kofi described. She agreed to accompany him to his village, determined to offer her assistance. With her staff in hand and a satchel of herbs slung over her shoulder, Amina set out with Kofi, her resolve strengthened by the purpose that guided her. The journey was long and arduous, the terrain rugged and unforgiving. As they traveled, Amina and Kofi shared stories of their lives, forming a bond born of shared hardship and mutual respect. Kofi spoke of his village's once thriving community, now overshadowed by illness and despair. Amina, in turn, shared her own tale of betrayal and healing, her voice steady and filled with the strength she had gained. Upon reaching Kofi's village, Amina was met with a scene of desolation. The villagers, once vibrant and full of life, now moved with a slow, labored gait. Children sat listlessly, their eyes dull and void of the spark that once lit their faces. Amina felt a pang of sorrow but also a surge of determination. She knew she had come here for a reason. Amina wasted no time. She began by examining the afflicted, noting the symptoms and patterns of the illness. With Kofi's help, she gathered the necessary herbs and set up a makeshift healing center in the heart of the village. Amina worked tirelessly, brewing potions, applying poultices, and teaching the villagers how to care for the sick. Her efforts bore fruit slowly but surely. The villagers began to show signs of improvement, their strength returning bit by bit. Children who had once been too weak to play now ran through the streets, their laughter echoing through the village. Adults, once bedridden, began to resume their daily activities, their faces regaining their lost vitality. During her time in the village, Amina discovered the source of the illness, a contaminated water supply. She led an effort to clean and purify the village's water, using the knowledge she had acquired from Mama Jalia. With the water safe once more, the village's health continued to improve, and the shadow of illness began to lift. One evening, as the sun set and cast a warm glow over the village, the elders gathered to thank Amina for her help. They presented her with a beautifully woven cloth, a symbol of their gratitude and respect. Amina accepted the gift with humility, her heart full of warmth for the community she had come to care for deeply. Kofi stood beside her, his eyes filled with admiration. "You have given us more than just your knowledge and healing, Amina," he said. "You have given us hope and a reminder of our own strength." Amina smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She knew that her work here was done, and it was time to return to her own village. The villagers bid her farewell with heartfelt gratitude, their lives forever changed by her presence. As Amina and Kofi made their way back to her village, they spoke of the future and the possibilities that lay ahead. Amina felt a sense of peace, knowing that she had made a difference in the lives of those she had helped. She also understood that her path was one of continual learning and sharing, of using her gifts to bring healing and hope to those in need. Upon returning to her village, Amina was welcomed with open arms. The villagers listened in awe as she recounted her experiences, their respect for her growing with each word. Amina resumed her role as healer and teacher, her heart filled with the knowledge that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The bond between Amina and Kofi grew stronger with each passing day. They worked together, combining their strengths and knowledge to help their communities thrive. Amina's story became an enduring legend, a testament to the power of resilience, compassion, and the unyielding spirit of those who choose to heal and uplift others. In the quiet moments, as Amina tended to her herbs or gazed at the stars, she felt a deep connection to the world around her. She understood that her scars, once a source of pain, had become symbols of her strength and her journey. And with each new dawn, Amina embraced her role as a healer, knowing that her story was just one of many that wove together the rich tapestry of life. In the tranquil days that followed Amina's return, life in her village blossomed. The seasons shifted, bringing with them the annual celebration of the harvest, a time of joy and abundance. Amina, now a central figure in her community, was at the heart of the preparations. Her hands, once marked by the pain of her past, now wove the fabric of her people's future with care and dedication. As the festival approached, a distant drumbeat echoed through the valley. It was a signal of visitors from the neighboring villages, each bringing their own stories, songs, and traditions to share. Among these visitors was a group of elders, revered for their wisdom and their ability to see beyond the ordinary. They came seeking Amina, drawn by the tales of her resilience and healing powers. Amina welcomed the elders with respect, offering them the finest fruits and the purest water. The eldest among them, a woman named Nana Bisi, spoke first. Her voice, though aged, carried the strength of countless generations. "We have heard of your journey, Amina," Nana Bisi began, her eyes piercing yet kind. "We come with a request. In our village, a darkness has taken hold. The crops fail, the children fall ill, and the spirit of our people wanes. We seek your help to restore balance." Amina listened, her heart stirred by the plight of these distant kin. She agreed to accompany the elders, feeling a deep calling to extend her healing touch beyond her own home. With Kofi by her side, she set out once more, guided by the wisdom and strength she had gathered from her own experiences. The journey to Nana Bisi's village was arduous, the landscape barren and desolate. The once fertile lands were now cracked and dry, a testament to the severity of the plight. Upon arrival, Amina saw the sorrow etched into the faces of the villagers. They moved with a heavy burden, their spirits dampened by the relentless hardships. Amina wasted no time. She gathered the villagers and began her work, diagnosing the ailments and listening to their stories. She found that the soil, long overworked and neglected, had lost its vitality. The water sources were tainted and the air was thick with despair. Drawing from the knowledge imparted by Mama Jalia, Amina devised a plan to rejuvenate the land. She led the villagers in rituals to honor the spirits of the earth and sky, asking for their guidance and blessing. She taught them how to rotate their crops, to let the soil breathe and recover. She showed them the ways to purify their water, using the herbs and techniques she had learned. Day by day, the village began to change. The soil, once parched and lifeless, slowly regained its richness. The crops, nurtured by newfound care and respect, began to sprout once more. The children, their health restored by clean water and proper nourishment, ran through the fields with laughter that echoed like a sweet melody. One evening, as the village gathered around a great fire, Nana Bisi stood to speak. Her eyes, once filled with concern, now shone with gratitude. "Amina, you have given us more than we could have hoped for," Nana Bisi said, her voice resonating with deep emotion. "You have not only healed our land but also our spirits. We are forever in your debt." Amina, humble and serene, acknowledged the words with a nod. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that the village would thrive long after she was gone. Her work was not about recognition, but about the lasting impact she could make. As she prepared to leave, the villagers gifted her with a beautifully carved gourd, a symbol of their gratitude and the life she had helped restore. Amina accepted the gift with a heart full of love and respect. Kofi, standing beside her, shared in the silent bond of purpose and dedication. They returned to their village with a renewed sense of hope, knowing that their efforts had made a difference. Back home, Amina resumed her role, continuing to teach and heal. Her fame spread even further, drawing people from distant lands who sought her wisdom and her touch. Each new face brought with it a story, a need, and Amina met each with the same compassion and strength that had guided her from the beginning. The land around her village flourished, a testament to the care and respect given to it. The villagers thrived, their lives enriched by the knowledge and love that Amina imparted. She became a living legend, her name synonymous with healing and resilience. In the quiet moments, under the vast African sky, Amina found peace in the rhythm of life. Her journey had taken her through trials and triumphs, each step molding her into the beacon of hope she had become. And as the stars shone above, Amina knew that her path, though challenging, had led her to a place of profound purpose and unwavering strength. In the heart of the village, where life thrived under Amina's care, a new challenge began to stir. Whispers of unrest came from the distant mountains, where a powerful chieftain named Kato ruled with an iron fist. His people were oppressed, their spirits crushed by his relentless demands and harsh punishments. One day, a young woman named Nia arrived at Amina's door, her eyes filled with desperation. "Please, Amina," she pleaded, "our people are suffering. Kato's tyranny knows no bounds. We need your help." Amina listened with compassion and resolve. She knew that healing could not be confined to physical ailments alone. Sometimes it meant confronting the darkness that plagued the spirit. With Kofi at her side, Amina set out towards the mountains, her heart heavy with the weight of Nia's words. The path was treacherous, the air thin and cold. As they ascended, the landscape became rugged, the sky a deep, brooding grey. Upon reaching the mountain village, they were met with silence and wary gazes. The villagers, fearful and beaten down, huddled in their homes, their eyes dull with resignation. Amina approached the center of the village, where Kato's imposing stone house loomed. She called out to him, her voice steady and clear. "Kato, ruler of these mountains, I am Amina. I come to speak with you." Kato emerged, his presence as formidable as the mountains themselves. He regarded Amina with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. "What brings you here, healer?" he demanded. "I have come to understand your pain," Amina replied, her eyes meeting his without flinching, "and to seek a way to heal this land and its people." Kato's laughter was harsh. "Heal? You speak of things you don't understand. This land is mine and my word is law." Amina stood her ground. "Your people are suffering, Kato. No ruler can thrive on the misery of their own. Let me help you find another way." For days, Amina remained in the village, observing and listening. She spoke to the villagers, learning of their hardships and fears. She saw the cracks in Kato's rule, the quiet defiance in the eyes of the oppressed, and slowly she began to unravel the source of Kato's cruelty. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the village, Amina approached Kato once more. "I see your pain," she said softly. "You rule with fear because you are afraid yourself. You have lost something precious and it has hardened your heart." Kato's eyes narrowed, but Amina's words struck a chord deep within him. He turned away, his voice barely above a whisper. "My son, he was taken by the mountain spirits. Since then, I have been filled with anger and sorrow." Amina placed a hand on his arm. "Let us seek the spirits together. Perhaps we can find peace for you and your son." Guided by Amina's unwavering resolve, Kato and the villagers followed her to the sacred grove, where the mountain spirits were believed to dwell. They performed rituals of atonement and supplication, calling upon the spirits for mercy and guidance. As the night deepened, a gentle wind swept through the grove, and a soft light began to glow among the trees. A voice, tender and melodic, filled the air. "Kato, your pain has been heard. Release your anger and your son will be returned to you." Tears streamed down Kato's face as he fell to his knees. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I have let my grief destroy what I should have cherished." The light grew brighter, and from it emerged a young boy, his face alight with joy. "Father!" he cried, running into Kato's arms. The village watched in awe as the spirits granted their forgiveness, and Kato's heart began to heal. He stood transformed, his eyes clear and his spirit renewed. "Thank you, Amina," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "You have given me back my son and my people their hope." With peace restored, Amina and Kofi departed, their hearts lightened by the knowledge that they had once again brought healing where it was most needed. The mountain village, now free from the shadow of tyranny, flourished under Kato's benevolent rule, its people united in strength and spirit. In the peaceful village where Amina resided, an air of anticipation swept through the community. News had spread of a distant king, Kweku, who ruled a vast and prosperous kingdom by the great river. Despite his wealth and power, his only daughter, Princess Zara, had fallen gravely ill. None of the kingdom's healers could cure her, and the king's desperation grew with each passing day. One evening, a royal messenger arrived at Amina's door, his face etched with urgency. "Amina, your renown as a healer has reached even the king's ears. He begs for your aid to save his daughter." Amina agreed, understanding the weight of the task ahead. With Kofi accompanying her, they traveled to King Kweku's kingdom. The journey took them through dense forests, across wide plains, and finally to the majestic gates of the royal palace. The grandeur of the palace was a stark contrast to the sorrow that hung in the air. King Kweku greeted Amina with a mixture of hope and desperation. Please, Amina, save my daughter. She's all I have." Amina nodded, her resolve firm. She was led to the princess's chambers, where Zara lay pale and weak, her breathing shallow. Amina examined her carefully, noting the symptoms and sensing an otherworldly presence at play. She realized that Zara's illness was not of the body alone, but involved a deeper spiritual imbalance. Amina called upon the royal priests and shamans, seeking their insight and cooperation. Together, they conducted a series of rituals to commune with the spirits. Amina chanted ancient incantations, her voice merging with the rhythm of drums and the crackling of sacred fires. As the rituals progressed, Amina sensed a shift in the atmosphere. A spirit, protective yet stern, revealed itself. It spoke of an old transgression, a broken promise made by the king's ancestors, which had cursed the royal bloodline. The spirit demanded that the promise be fulfilled to restore balance. King Kweku, desperate to save his daughter, pledged to honor the forgotten vow. Guided by the spirit, he and Amina undertook a pilgrimage to a sacred site by the river where the ancient promise had been made. The king offered gifts and performed the rites to appease the spirit. Back at the palace, Amina continued to care for Zara, administering herbs and potions to strengthen her. Slowly, the princess began to show signs of recovery. Her color returned, and her breathing steadied. The once gloomy palace started to buzz with cautious optimism. One morning, as the first light of dawn filtered through the windows, Zara opened her eyes fully, her strength renewed. She smiled at Amina, who sat by her bedside, a look of relief and gratitude washing over her. King Kweku, overjoyed by his daughter's recovery, showered Amina with gifts and praises. But Amina, ever humble, accepted only what she needed and asked that the rest be given to those in need within the kingdom. As the village celebrated Zara's return to health, Amina took her leave, her spirit lifted by the knowledge that once again she had helped restore harmony where it was most needed. The kingdom of King Kweku flourished, bound by renewed faith and unity. In Amina's village, the seasons turned, and the people prospered under her guidance. One day, a group of hunters returned with news of a strange phenomenon deep in the forest. They spoke of a giant tree, its leaves shimmering with a peculiar silver hue, surrounded by an eerie silence. The villagers whispered of ancient magic and wondered if the tree held secrets long forgotten. Amina decided to investigate, sensing that the forest called to her with a purpose. Accompanied by Kofi and a few trusted villagers, she ventured into the depths of the woodland. The path was dense, the canopy overhead filtering the sunlight into ethereal patterns. After hours of traversing the thick undergrowth, they came upon the tree. It stood taller than any other, its bark gleaming like polished silver. An unnatural stillness pervaded the air, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. Amina approached the tree with reverence, feeling the weight of centuries in its presence. As she examined the tree, she noticed delicate carvings on its trunk, depicting scenes of a great flood and a village being saved by the tree's miraculous powers. The images told a story of an ancient pact between the tree and the people, a bond forged in times of need. Amina sensed that the tree was more than it seemed. She laid her hands on its surface and closed her eyes, reaching out with her spirit. Suddenly, a vision engulfed her. She saw the village of old, threatened by disaster, and the tree's roots reaching out to protect and nourish the people. The tree had given its life force to save the village, and in return, the people had promised to honor and protect it forever. Opening her eyes, Amina knew what needed to be done. The pact had been neglected, and the tree's power was fading. She explained the vision to the villagers, and they agreed to renew their vow. They gathered offerings of fruits, grains, and crafted items, presenting them at the base of the tree. Amina led them in a ceremony of remembrance and gratitude, invoking the spirits of the ancestors. As the villagers chanted and danced, a soft glow enveloped the tree, its leaves rustling with newfound life. The air vibrated with energy, and a gentle hum resonated through the forest. The tree seemed to breathe deeply, its bark warming under their touch. The ancient magic was rekindled, and a sense of harmony spread through the woodland. The hunters who had first discovered the tree approached Amina, their eyes wide with awe. "You have brought the forest back to life," one of them said, his voice trembling with emotion. "We had forgotten the old ways, but you have reminded us." Amina smiled, feeling a profound connection with the land and its people. She instructed the villagers to visit the tree regularly to maintain the bond that had been restored. They promised to uphold their part of the pact, understanding the importance of their relationship with nature. As they made their way back to the village, the forest around them seemed more vibrant, the colors richer, and the sounds more alive. The tree's renewed strength echoed in every rustle of leaves and every chirp of birds. The villagers carried with them a sense of pride and responsibility, knowing that they were custodians of an ancient and powerful magic. Back in the village, life continued to thrive, the bond with the forest now an integral part of their daily existence. Amina's wisdom had once again brought healing, not just to the people, but to the land they called home. Amina's village had flourished under her guidance, and the bond between the people and the land was stronger than ever. The renewed harmony brought prosperity and peace, but Amina knew that there was still much to be done. Her heart remained open to the needs of her people, and she continued to teach, heal, and nurture. One day, as the village gathered for the annual harvest festival, a group of travelers arrived. They were from a distant land and had heard tales of Amina's wisdom and power. Among them was an elder named Makina, who carried a staff adorned with intricate carvings and symbols. She approached Amina with a request that would shape the future of the village and beyond. "Our homeland has been plagued by drought and famine," Makina explained, her voice heavy with sorrow. "Our people suffer and we have lost hope. We have come to seek your guidance and aid." Amina listened, her heart moved by their plight. She knew that the strength of her village and the power of the land could extend to help others in need. She agreed to accompany the travelers to their homeland, bringing with her the knowledge and magic that had transformed her own village. With Kofi by her side, Amina set out once more, guided by the stories and experiences that had shaped her. The journey was long and arduous, but the determination of the travelers and the hope they carried sustained them. They crossed vast deserts and treacherous mountains, finally arriving at Makina's homeland. The land was dry and barren, the once fertile fields now cracked and lifeless. The people, weary and malnourished, greeted Amina with a mixture of desperation and hope. Amina could see the pain in their eyes, but she also saw the flicker of resilience that had not yet been extinguished. Amina began by assessing the land and the people, understanding the depth of their suffering. She gathered the elders and shared with them the rituals and practices that had restored life to her own village. She taught them about the importance of honoring the spirits of the land, of maintaining balance and harmony with nature. Together, they performed ceremonies to invoke the spirits of water and fertility, asking for their aid in revitalizing the land. Amina led the people in planting new crops, teaching them sustainable farming techniques that would nourish the soil and ensure long-term prosperity. The transformation was slow but steady. As the rains began to fall and the seeds took root, the land started to show signs of life. Green shoots emerged from the dry earth, and the air filled with the scent of fresh growth. The people, inspired by Amina's guidance and their own resilience, worked tirelessly to restore their homeland. Months passed, and the once barren fields were now lush and fertile. The rivers flowed with clean water, and the people, their strength restored, celebrated their renewed hope and prosperity. Makina and the elders thanked Amina, their gratitude boundless. "You have given us more than just your knowledge," Makina said, her eyes shining with tears. "You have given us hope and the strength to rebuild our future." Amina smiled, her heart full. She had witnessed the power of unity and the resilience of the human spirit. She knew that the bonds forged between the villages would endure, a testament to the strength and wisdom that had been shared. As Amina and Kofi prepared to return to their village, they were accompanied by a procession of grateful villagers. They left behind a land transformed, a people renewed, and a legacy of healing and hope that would be remembered for generations. Upon their return, Amina was welcomed with open arms. The village, now thriving, had eagerly awaited her return. They celebrated her accomplishments and the unity she had fostered. Amina continued to teach and heal, her story becoming an integral part of the village's heritage. In the quiet moments, as Amina tended to her garden or sat by the fire with Kofi, she reflected on the journey she had undertaken. She had faced trials and triumphs, guided by a deep sense of purpose and compassion. Her story, woven into the fabric of her village, was a testament to the power of resilience, unity, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. And so, Amina's legacy lived on, a beacon of hope and healing in a world that would always need her wisdom and strength. The village thrived, the land flourished, and the stories of Amina's courage and compassion were told for generations, inspiring all who heard them.